Good evening, everyone. Good afternoon, depending on your location. Can everyone hear me, please? So, I'd like to believe everyone can hear me. Okay. So, good evening, everyone, and welcome to today's office hours. Sorry for the slight delay. The Zoom meeting was not working at first. So the Zoom link wasn't working at first, sorry. So welcome to today's office hours again. And as usual, we'll be talking about Python and Django. So this week's topic is introduction to PEEP, virtual environments, and Django. So like I mentioned yesterday, I believe I have covered most of the things that, or everything that I'm supposed to cover for this week. So if you have any question, you can just put them in the comment section. So we have about 7 people now watching, or 6. Okay, so I think we'll just have to wait for more people to join. So for those who are here already, if you have any question, you can just put them in the comment section and get to it. So I think I'll just share my screen briefly. So we have so today's class is just an hour. So I doubt I'll be writing much code, but let me just share my screen. I believe everyone can see my screen. Okay, so yes, for the last video, there's a part that needs editing out. So I made the video private. It will be public soon. So just bear with me, please. It will be public soon, most likely tomorrow. Is it VS Code I'll use to code or Python for the assignments? I don't know what you mean by Python, but VS Code runs Python. So you would need a text editor, not necessarily VS Code. You can use Sublime Text, you can use um, PyCharm, you can use what other extension or compiler? Rather, what other compiler is there? Jupyter Notebook, yeah. So you can really use anything that can run your Python code. Yes. So I think for the last video, I just mentioned it. So there's a part that needs editing, and I'll be publishing it tomorrow, most likely tomorrow. Okay, so yes, you can use Jupyter. It's fine. I haven't been able to find a way to solve it. Solve what? Sorry, please. Solve what? I don't think I. So, am I the only one that got lost? Am I the only one that lost yesterday's class? No, you are not. So if you mean the video is private, no, you are not. So it will be published back tomorrow. So I have not actually used Jupyter itself. I'll probably look into Jupyter, but you can push to GitHub using the command line. So you can use your terminal. If Jupyter has a terminal, you should be able to push to GitHub using the terminal. But if not, you can always use your Windows command prompt, your terminal. So it's still the same process with the normal Git CLI I used on Tuesday. Okay, so I'm trying to see if there is a specific question on Slack that needs an answer on the channel. Okay, so I think someone brought, okay. The introductory video is blurry. Is it the one on like our office hours on Tuesday, or the one attached to the video resources for this week? If it is the one attached to the video resources for this week, then could it be that you are not changing the video quality on YouTube? So, you can adjust your video quality like this. I believe everyone can see my screen. So, I believe or you can always adjust your video quality if it is blurry. But if it is the fact that it was not zoomed in properly, then because someone brought this to my attention on the channel. I think there was a part where I was using terminal. There was a part I was using terminal, like normal Windows command prompt, and it was a bit blurry, like it was not clear enough. And that was because you can't zoom in within the Windows terminal. So if it was that, then there was nothing that could have been done with this Windows command prompt itself. But if it is the fact that it is blurry, then I suggest you change the video quality. If you change the video quality, it should be clearer. So learn Git Bash. Git Bash. Or do you mean Git itself? Okay, so since I'm sharing my screen, and I am on Chrome, I hope everyone can see my screen. So I will just show you this link. So it is pinned on my Chrome. So Yeah, it is Git. I think this is just like an introductory Git. Um, how to use Git. So yeah, I think you can use this as a sample to at least learn the basics before you move further into it. So you can just check out this thing. Let me put it in the comments. Um, this is it. So yes, okay, which other question? I think I stopped here. Okay, please, I still don't understand where requirement.txt comes in after making the app. And are we required to do anything to the view like you were explaining on Tuesday? Okay, so if you were available for Tuesday's class, or if you probably watched the office hours after, you would notice a part where I explained how to use requirements.txt. I think it was at the beginning and towards the end of the class. So I talked about what you can use the requirement.txt for, um, and how you can. I didn't show the Python command or the pip command rather to generate it from the dependency, like to pin your dependencies to the requirement.txt file, because I said that is part of the task and you should go check out how to do that. But I explained how it works and how you can download the dependencies from your requirement.txt file into your virtual environment. So um, just a quick recap. So requirement.txt file houses or it houses your packages or your dependencies that's in your virtual environment. So the requirement.txt file pins your dependencies such that when you push them to GitHub or a version control, so yeah, um, tools like or sites like or platforms like GitHub, they are called version control. So when you push them to a version control, someone can easily take your code and get all the dependencies or all the packages that were in your virtual that you use in the project. So the requirement.txt file just pins your dependencies and your packages and allows for collaboration within the project. I always download the videos to learn and solve my assignment, and I'm able to open my LMS through the link sent since this. Wow, this what can I do? So if you're unable to open your LMS, you should reach out to coordinator. Yeah, you should reach out to coordinator. But you said you always download. I think that is okay. Okay, that's not a follow-up question. Okay. So how are you solving your assignments if you cannot go through LMS? How do you even know what the task is? How How do I open the Windows command prompt, please? Oh, simple. Just come to your Windows bar and type CMD. So type CMD command prompt. The link I shared didn't show. Are you sure? Let me copy out the link and put it in my browser. It's showing. So I don't understand. How is it not showing in your end? So I just copied it out and I pasted it from. You are getting a duplicate column. Okay, so This question would be answered in our next office hours because that is not this week's topic, that is for next week. So I will not try to confuse the people who have not gotten there. So to ensure uniformity in learning, I will not be answering this question this week. Okay, so there is no other question. Okay, so someone sent, I think I wanted to go back. So someone said, I think the person that said this, I haven't been able to find a way to solve it. So I think your question or the issue you are having was in you posted it in the channel, the full stack channel. So although you didn't send a screenshot, so I don't know how best to reply you. But I would say the reason why you are having that error is because you are not within the directory where there's managed.py. So let me just demonstrate. So a lot of people are having that error, and a lot of people tag me to it. So I'll just reshare my VS Code, reshare my screen rather. So I believe everyone can see my screen. I believe everyone can see my screen. So let me activate the version environment. Okay, so I have activated. Okay, now, so point of notes, a lot of people are still running their Vim virtual environment, or trying to activate their virtual environment using PowerShell. Now, it is not bad in itself, but I would advise you to use CMD, which is your command prep. I've mentioned this before, but because PowerShell, you mostly use, or PowerShell can be used for administrative purposes most times within your computer. There are some restrictions. So for you to be able to bypass the restrictions, you have to do something like the set policy or something like that. You get an error that says you need to change your policy or something like that. So let me just try to, okay, I think it will work now because I have done mine in the past, but let me see. Mine would most likely work, but some people get an error. Let's see if this will, okay, no, exactly, yeah, good. So you will most likely get this error that says you need to, the scripts cannot be loaded because blah, blah, blah is disabled on this system for more information. So to bypass, you need to set, I think execution policy, something like that. Yeah, set execution policy. Now, I would not advise you to do that because there's a reason Windows actually puts this restriction there. So just use your CMD because that will not give you this error. I do not use PowerShell most times to activate my virtual environment, especially if I'm using virtual env or VMV. So I hope you understand. So people still bring up this error. And although I've mentioned this before, please do not use PowerShell. You can just keep using your CMD. So I'm just going to wait. Okay, so the error I was trying to mention just now. So if you are trying to run your code or your server rather, you're trying to run your server in the directory where you don't have managed.py, you will get an error. So if I run Python, Sorry. Python. Okay, what is wrong with Python manage.py run server? If I run this command, nothing would work, or I would get this error, no such file or directory. And this is the error most of you are having. And this is because you are running your server in the directory where you don't have manage.py. So if you run your, because now I am in Zuri Django 2 directory, which is this directory itself. So now I click on it. There is no manage.py here. There is no manage.py here. So I have to go into this place, this project itself. I have to enter or cd into this project itself. So for me to run my server, I need to cd into the Fireflies directory. Then if I run this command, this will work because within the Firefly directory, I have manage.py, not within the inner Fireflies. So take notes, when you are creating your projects, you would have the name of the projects. Yeah, you would have the name as the root directory. Then you have a subfolder, or you have a folder inside that root directory with the same name. So you should make sure not to cd into this one. Now let me stop running this guy, and you see that I can cd into the Fireflies. Okay, let me just clear this to make it bold. So you will see that I can cd into Fireflies again because there is another folder. So if I try running my server here, I will get an error. So you should take note of the directory you are running your server. So I believe that is, let me just stop sharing. I believe I have answered that. So I think the next question is, I am getting, okay, I think I've mentioned that the link is not appearing in the live chat section. Is it okay? I would paste it in, on the channel after this class, or you can just type it out. But I would. Oh, you cannot see it on your screen. I will paste it on the channel. Oh, okay. So I will type it out. Or I would send it on the channel. Or you can just check out the link since you already can see the link. But I will post it in the channel later. Okay. My root folder, can I use Django project, SoundCloud, music app? Okay, so I believe you are asking as per the assignment for next week. Although I already said I would not be answering any. Okay, but for this, because we are talking about folder structure now, I think I would answer this. So for this, you should probably do this. You should, because you already have, I believe you already have a folder called Django projects. So I'm guessing the Django project houses all your Django projects. But if it is just housing the SoundCloud project, why don't you just push or create a new folder and make it SoundCloud? Because as per the instruction on the task, you are meant to create a SoundCloud for the name of your project should be SoundCloud. So it should not be Django projects. CMD doesn't support some CLI commands like ls. Yes, CMD is not, it's a Windows terminal. It is not um it is not a Linux terminal. So it doesn't support that. But there are equivalent commands for those things like in Windows too. So if you notice, um, I used CLS to clear my terminal. I used make directory mkdir for um like to delete a folder sometime. Oh, yeah, to create a folder rather some time ago. I also used the DL command. So there's also the DL. So there's like equivalent commands for each of them, like for Windows and for Power and for Linux or any of the CLI you're using. So you should Google that. So for like the RM, which is to remove a file in Linux, there is also the DL for command CMD. But I don't think because of a command like ls or those commands, you would not want to make your code run, or you would go override Windows has already put in place to protect you. So those settings are there for those restrictions are there for a purpose. So you should not override them. Okay, so I have installed the virtual environment Django for further attempt to create folder or other things, you are giving errors. Um, to start with, why is your virtual environment called Django? Oh, you said, okay, you have installed a virtual environment, but further attempt to create folder, okay, or other things. So what errors were they given? And have you tried Googling an error? So, okay, so something I want to mention is this. When you have an error, the first thing you do is Google the last line, like the last error, because most times your errors are, most errors are readable. So you should go to like the last line of the error and see what the error is saying. So you should Google what that error is in particular. Then you will get a Stack Overflow link that redirects you to a solution, most times to the error that you have. So you should try to know the errors you are having. This is the song code inside the Django project, or we create it separately. Please okay, let's get there. Like let's get to that point, because now you try to confuse the people that are watching this, or um we'll watch it later. So please let's get there. Let's get to models and before we, or you can message me and I will tell you what you should do. Although I have stopped replying most messages about the models because we are not giving room for others to pick up. Like so many people are behind and I want to really carry everyone along. Okay. So um okay, so is there any other question? And one other thing that I would love to mention is this: when you want to send a screenshot of your error, please snip it. So there's a tool called snipping tool on Windows. So you can just type in the Windows button and type you can press the Windows button and type out snipping tool on your system. So the snipping tool allows you to screenshot or screen grab a certain part or a specific part of your screen. So please, when you want to send a screenshot, snip that part because it is clearer that as opposed to taking your phone and snapping your screen. It will capture what you want to show clearer, and I will be able to understand the error better. Because when you are not snipping your screen and you are just sending a screenshot, the camera is blurry and probably the lighting, the flashlights at the back of the camera would block some parts of the code and I would not be able to see. So please just snip your code when you want to screenshot an error or when I asked to see screenshots. Okay, so it seems like there is an absence of questions. Okay. So I believe we can call it a day. Let me check if there is still some questions on the channel. Okay, so it seems there's an absence of questions and I cannot find any question where someone is tagging me. Oh yeah, okay, yeah. That is another option. You can just use Windows or print screen. So it will screenshot your whole screen. The reason why I didn't mention that was probably you do not want to screenshot your whole screen. You can just screenshot specific parts of it. Can I explain many to one and one to one? Please, I already said that this is next week's task. So I will be covering this from next week. It is not this week's topic. Okay, so okay. So I am no longer seeing any question on the I can no longer see any question on the comment section. Okay, so okay, let's call it a day. Thank you all for joining. It seems there is no question any longer in the comment section. So thank you all for joining. I hope you have a great weekend ahead. Okay, today is Thursday, but yeah. Hope you have a great weekend ahead. Bye. See you all next week.